Most people don't realize they're living inside a set of rules they never wrote. The boundaries around their dreams, the quiet ceilings placed over their ambition, the invisible thermostat sets the limits on how much happiness, wealth, confidence, and personal freedom they're allowed to experience. All of it was handed to them long before they were old enough to question any of it. And because they never question it, they live inside it like it's the only version of life that exists. But here's the truth. It's not life. It's a well-designed illusion, and that illusion is working perfectly. Not for you, for the system. What you're about to hear isn't motivational fluff. It's not another soft reminder to believe in yourself or think positively. This is a structural breakdown of the cage itself, the mental, emotional, and societal architecture that keeps people obedient, overwhelmed, and disconnected from their own power. If you've been watching the legacy code for a while, you already know the direction we're heading. But today, we're pulling the veil straight off. There is no neutral ground in this world. Either you write the code you live by, or someone else writes it for you. The moment you wake up to that, everything changes. Let's begin. You're born into a program. You don't choose the beliefs you start with. You don't choose the narratives about money, purpose, success, or worthiness. You don't choose the fears that get passed down like family heirlooms. You inherit a script, and without realizing it, you spend your early life performing it. Go to school, follow the instructions, don't question authority, get the safe job, don't dream too big, fit in. Stay realistic. That word realistic has destroyed more potential than failure ever could. The illusion doesn't need bars or chains. It just needs you to accept the limits as if they're facts. But something happens the moment you start seeing the strings. When you realize you've been nudged, shaped, conditioned, and programmed, not by some villain in a dark alley, but by teachers, parents, peers, media, culture, expectations, routines. You stop playing along automatically. You start thinking, you start noticing how comfort has been weaponized against you, how fear is packaged as practicality, how good enough is sold as security. And that, right there, is the first crack in the illusion. From that moment, you are no longer a puppet. You're a leader. I'm going to give you a real story here, because real stories are the things that break illusions faster than theories ever will. Ronald Reed, a quiet janitor in Vermont, didn't own a business, didn't come from wealth, didn't inherit a blueprint for success. He worked as a gas station attendant for decades and then as a janitor. The world assumed it knew his value. The system had already placed him in his slot. Invisible, unimportant, replaceable, but Ronald Reed didn't live by the code he inherited. He wrote a different one. He educated himself at a public library. He invested small amounts consistently, decade after decade. He didn't follow the illusion that people like him don't get ahead. He studied. He thought for himself. He moved differently. And when he died in 2014, the world discovered that the janitor people walked past every day, left behind an $8 million fortune. $8 million, one of the largest philanthropic bequests in the state. People called it a miracle. It wasn't a miracle. It was a man who stepped outside the illusion that your job title determines your destiny. A man who realized he could rewrite the code he was living in. A man who learned that the world isn't doing it to you. You're doing it to yourself. That's what the legacy code is about. That's why I wrote the book. And yes, if you want to go deeper, the Legacy Code book is available right now on Amazon, Audible, and Etsy. But let's keep going. When you stop accepting the illusion, you realize something bigger. Belief shapes reality. Not in a fluffy, affirmations on a sticky note kind of way. In a deep, neurological way. Your subconscious is running programs 24 hours a day. Programs that decide what you notice, what you filter out, what you believe you deserve, and what kind of world you think you're living in. Tell yourself, I'm always broke, and your subconscious will obey. It doesn't know you're joking. It doesn't understand sarcasm or frustration. It takes commands literally. I'm always broke becomes, this is the version of reality you want me to stabilize, so it stabilizes it. Every single time, but try changing the code. I expect success in everything I do. Large sums of money flow to me freely and endlessly. Repeat it. train it, sit with it. Because your brain isn't a fixed machine. Neuroplasticity, the ability to reorganize, rewire, and rebuild itself, means you can pull out old beliefs like weeds and plant new ones like seeds. Change the code and life changes with it. Let's anchor this with another story. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the unimaginable, the concentration camps of World War II, a place designed not just to break the body, but to break the mind. The system tried to erase him, strip him, turn him into a number, crush his identity, and yet, amid that darkness, Frankl made a decision so profound that it would inspire millions. He realized that even when everything external is taken from you, one thing remains: your ability to choose your thoughts, your inner world, your meaning, your frequency. They could imprison his body, but they could not imprison his mind unless he handed them the key. And he refused. That choice, that inner rebellion, became the foundation of his life's work, his book, Man's Search for Meaning, and the philosophy of logotherapy. Frankl escaped the illusion in the harshest place on earth. If he could do that there, imagine what you can do here. This is why the legacy code isn't about rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's not about chaos, and it's not about becoming some edgy contrarian who argues with everything. It's about intention, precision, awareness. It's about upgrading the program so your life stops feeling like something happening to you and starts feeling like something happening through you. Once you see the illusion, you also start seeing the traps. Some are obvious: toxic jobs, endless debt cycles, relationships that shrink your soul, the addiction to consumption instead of creation. Other traps are subtle: self-doubt disguised as logic, procrastination disguised as planning, waiting for the right time, living by the opinions of people who stopped growing years ago. You escape the illusion by recognizing the traps and choosing differently. Your frequency becomes everything, not in a mystical sense, but in a practical, scientific, real-world sense. People feel you before they hear you. Opportunities respond to how you carry yourself. Money flows towards certainty and confidence. Rooms shift when someone walks in, aligned with who they're becoming instead of who they used to be. When you operate on a higher frequency, you stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop needing validation. You start exuding direction. Now let's bring in one more story, because I want this message grounded in the real world, not theory. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, first female self-made billionaire. The world loves to talk about her success, but they rarely talk about the illusion she escaped. Blakely failed the law school admission test twice. She sold fax machines door to door. She was rejected by every investor she pitched. The system had already assigned her a lane: ordinary job, ordinary life, nothing special, but she didn't buy the illusion. She questioned it. She asked better questions. She observed her life and thought, what if the limits I believe in aren't real? She cut the feet off a pair of pantyhose and created a product that would later dominate the fashion industry. The illusion said she was a nobody. She rewrote the code and became a billionaire. This is what escaping the illusion looks like in real time. Not dramatic leaps, not instant success, but a series of awakenings that change the trajectory of everything. You start noticing your own patterns. You stop settling for the low-frequency version of yourself. You upgrade your rituals. You make decisions that match your future, not your past. And suddenly, life expands. That's why I wrote the Legacy Codebook, because escaping the illusion is not an event. It's a lifestyle, a commitment, a new operating system. But let's bring this home. The world isn't throwing buckets of bad luck at you. The world isn't targeting you. The world isn't punishing you. The world is responding to you. You're the narrator, the coder, the conductor, the scriptwriter, the main character. Legacy isn't what you leave behind when you die, it's what you radiate while you live. It's the energy you bring into rooms, it's the frequency you carry. It's the invisible message you send into the world every day that says, I know who I am now. Legacy isn't a future outcome. Legacy is a present identity. And the moment you decide to step into that identity, everything begins to shift. Your life stops feeling accidental. It stops feeling like something you're enduring. It becomes something you're sculpting, choosing, directing, shaping. You become a frequency carrier for a better future, not just for you, but for anyone who crosses your path. That's the invitation. That's the challenge. That's the code. The pen is in your hand. The program is yours to rewrite. The illusion only works when you accept it. Once you see through it, you rise above it. Your legacy begins the moment you choose to see differently. If this video resonated with you, give it a like and subscribe so we can continue this journey together.